quiet, please. A little quieter. Here, beneath the age-old hills, in the darkness and cool of the Abrau-Dюрсо tunnels, sparkling wine is being matured. Did you know that wine, universally regarded as a symbol of joy and pleasure, is born in peace and quiet? We are going to tell you the amazing success story of Abrau-Dюrсо, the famous Russian Méthode Champenoise sparkling wine. This splendid amber-color wine was born in the valley of Lake Abrau, one of the most beautiful places in the south of Russia. It was in this valley that the enologists discovered the unique terroir, the climate and the soils, which they combined with the age-old manufacturing traditions of France's famous champagne. The history of the world's merriest and most elegant wine started in the picturesque French province of Champagne. It is Dom Pierre Perignon, a Benedictine monk who is considered the inventor and the symbol of champagne wine. A gifted winemaker himself, he managed to turn the spontaneous foaming, the main drawback of northern wines, into the main advantage of the new beverage, effervescence, that added mirth and festivity to the champagne wine. Renoir, the oldest established champagne house, was founded in 1729 in Champagne. This house was soon followed by Roederer, Boulanger, and Moet and Chandon. We owe the appearance of some sophisticated technologies in bottles with special shape, corked with natural stoppers, to these houses. Apart from Moet and Chandon, the so-called widows' champagne houses became world famous. It was said that Nicole Clicquot had conquered the world, including Russia, which Napoleon never managed to do, with her champagne. It was her wine that the Russian troops tried on entering France after the defeat of Napoleon. They took their enthusiastic impressions back home to Russia, where champagne soon became a symbol of luxury and hussar valor. Russia quickly became one of the main consumers of French champagne, and so the idea of its manufacture in Russia appeared shortly thereafter. On November 25, 1870, by Emperor Alexander II's order, on the shore of the Abrau, the largest lake in the northwestern Caucasus, the Abrau-Dюrсо Royal Estate Winery was founded. At first, the winery produced still wines, the famous Abrau Riesling and Abrau Cabernet. It was noticed that Abrau's climate and soils surpassed those of French Champagne. In 1891, Prince Lev Golitsyn was appointed the surveyor of the imperial vineyards of Abrau. That was the beginning of the brilliant sparkling history of the Abrau-Dюrсо winery. The first 16,000 bottles of Champanskaya, the Russian name for sparkling wine, were laid in the tunnels in 1896 to be released 2 years later. In 1905, the French champagne cellar master, Victor Dravigny, came to Abrau-Dюrсо. Owing to his talent and merits, the Abrau-Dюrсо Champanskaya won the love of the royal court and Russian nobility. At the beginning of the 20th century, when they wanted to say sparkling wine, they said Abrau-Dюrсо. In 1913, this wine was served at the 300th anniversary of the Romanovs' house. The year 1917 changed everything. Russian society was turned upside down, and the aristocracy was destroyed, removing the main consumer of Abrau-Dюrсо wines. Also, the French masters had to leave the country. Very soon, however, the new Soviet government felt the need for sparkling wine for the whole nation, and not just for nobility. In 1920, the academic enologist Frolov Bagreev was appointed head of winemaking at Sovkhoz, or State Farm, Abrau-Dюрсо, founded on the location of the ex-Tsar's estate. It was Frolov Bagreev who launched the tank, or Charmat method, of producing sparkling wines in Russia. In the Charmat method, the secondary fermentation is conducted in large tanks rather than bottles. This made the winemaking process much quicker and possible in much larger quantities. So the wine for millionaires became the wine for millions, and the people were able to celebrate the new Soviet holidays with a glass of Soviet Shampanskaya. However, the new Soviet aristocracy did not ignore their own tastes either. Sparkling wines by the Méthode Champenoise had never ceased. As a rule, champagne is crafted as a blend of several grapes. Imagine that champagne is a gorgeous dress. Then Pinot Noir adds taste and power and is the cloth. Chardonnay, elegant and fresh, is the lace. And Pinot Meunier is the lining, supporting the whole construction. The effervescent property of champagne is the result of the natural fermentation in the bottle. To achieve this, the tirage blend is poured into bottles, topped with the live culture of wine yeast, cap, and the bottles stored in cool tunnels. There it is matured for no less than 3 years, perfecting the wine's qualities. This is how its unforgettable bouquet is shaped. After maturation, the process known as riddling begins. In this stage, the bottles are shaken, then turned and tipped daily for a month until the bottles are upside down and the sediment within has settled onto the corks. Then it's the master disgorger's turn. Disgorging is the removal of sediment. The master disgorger takes off crown cap, and within seconds, the cork is forced out of the bottle by the gas pressure within, carrying along the frozen plug of the sediment. After this, the sweetening liqueur is added. Depending on the volume of the dosage addition, the final wine may range from brut to semi-doux. Then the bottle is stopped with a cork. Today's Abrau-Dюрсо is a state-of-the-art, high-tech winemaking facility. For the last several years, the output of its sparkling wine has risen 5 times. Now Abrau-Dюрсо wines are exported to 20 countries, and you can find them on the wine lists of the most fashionable restaurants. We are carefully preserving our history, continuing the French traditions, and crafting Russia's best classical sparkling wine. Abrau-Dюрсо is Russia's leading wine tourism center. These visitors enjoy our restaurants of European cuisine, a romantic boutique hotel, a champagne spa, and a cozy resort. Abrau-Dюрсо also hosts annual art events, food and wine festivals, and has an international hospitality educational center. Abrau-Dюрсо is continuing the glory of the legendary Russian sparkling wine. We are official caterers to the Kremlin and the 2014 Winter Games in Sochi. Abrau-Dюрсо is a sparkling mood, a territory of good taste, and a festival that never ends.